Hey everybody! Thanks for listening to On the Podcast, a short episode format podcast that you can watch or listen to while you're doing your business on the pod. Or maybe you are wide awake in the middle of the night from existential dread.
Aren't we all?
Are we all?
I do have the benefit of sleeping like a baby. So far that has not been affected.
That's so nice.
Melatonin. Thank you.
Have never been much of a good sleeper.
I have some weird fucking dreams though, I'll tell
Oh
you
yeah,
that.
me too. Yeah, me too. At least I've got that. I know the people that are like, I don't dream, I'm like, what? What do you do all night? I'm like, gosh, I had a nightmare the other day. I hadn't had a nightmare in years. And I woke up and I was just like, and I was like, what?
Every month somebody's trying to kill me.
Oh yeah, it's like a weird, like ghost, weird, horrifying, awful,
No.
psychological, bad.
Rough.
Yeah. Anyway, so you've just woken up from that, maybe, or you're just awake because you sleep for like 4 hours and then you're awake and you're like stressed about everything. And,
Yeah.
So what you might as well do is put on an episode of our podcast and learn a little. And hopefully it decreases your anxiety. At the very least, if you're just like awake, it's just something to do.
It'll distract you.
Yeah. I'm Liz.
And I'm Katie. Hey Liz.
Hey Katie.
What are we talking about today?
All right, Katie. We are in March. Mm-hmm. And we are about to be in the Ides of March.
Which I have no idea what that
All
means.
right. I had to ask because you are somebody who is a big fan of the month of March.
I love March. St. Patrick's Day, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day.
And
plus, it's always kind of, maybe, possibly the up and up towards spring.
yeah, it's like
Maybe?
it's like a little teaser. It's always a joke.
Yeah.
It's like it's
It is
nice,
that.
but then it might like dump snow and you're like, what?
This year, I hope to God it dumps snow.
Yeah, we need it.
Anyway,
the Ides of March actually is around your favorite holiday.
okay.
And I was like, going into this, I was like, Ides of March, cute. This will be a cute story. It's not.
Womp womp.
Okay, so the Ides of March is technically March 15th. And it's based around the Romans. The way the Romans talked about dates was they counted back from 3 sections of the month.
Okay.
The first section being the nones, which was the 5th or the 7th. So they'd be like 3 days before the nones, you know, and then that's supposed to be like the 2nd or like the 4th. Okay. And then the Ides, which was the 13th for most months, but the 15th for March, May, July, and October.
I before he except after seeing weekends on Wednesdays and sometimes
30 days has
holidays.
September, April, May. Yeah, exactly. And then the calends, which is the first of the month. So like if you were like it's 3 days before the calends, then you know that it's the end of the month. You know, it's 28th or whatever.
Okay.
Martius, which equals March, was named for the god Mars, whose birthday is the 1st of March. So Mars, the god of war, 1st of March, that's his birthday. But the 15th of every month was always sacred for Jupiter. That was the Romans' like guy.
It was his
guy. It was his guy. Yeah. Jupiter was very sacred to the Romans. This is something I did not know until today. So keep that in mind, everybody, because it comes into play later. Now, leading up to what we'll get into, the Ides of March was essentially a party. It was a feast. So the Ides of March, like, was sometimes celebrated as like New Year's in Roman times. So it was this big party. There was this feast of Anna Perenna, where there was eating, drinking, dancing, all that fun stuff. It was also, they also suggest that this was the time of Memoralia, which we might have talked about in one of our New Year's episodes, or maybe I just researched it before and was like, that's fucking weird. We're not talking about that. But the tradition was that an old man would dress in animal skins and be beaten out of the city to represent essentially like the old year leaving and the new year coming in.
I thought you were going to say something along the lines of boobs because all I could think of was mammary glands.
Oh, mammalia. No, mammals. No.
Quick side note. I think this is probably, I can't remember at this point, Neil deGrasse Tyson in January when everybody was like, Happy New Year, posted on some social media platform and was like, screw all of you thinking it's the new year. For the rest of history, it's not for another 3 months. And everybody was like, fuck you, Neil deGrasse Tyson. So,
look, I'll tell you this much. Don't fuck with the cosmos, because the reality is in astrology, I believe the astrological calendar starts with Aries, which is March. We've got the Ides of March, and then you've got Chinese New Year, which this year was February 17th. I think 2 years ago it was in January.
yeah.
You got the Jewish calendar. It's all over the place. Like, let's stick with Neil.
What day is it? Who am I? Who are you?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so the Ides of March, though, is most well known for the assassination of Caesar in 44 BC.
Okay.
Caesar, you ever heard of him? Makes a great salad. Speaking of salad and being served salad, Caesar served for the Republic for 8 years. Okay, so Caesar... yeah, thanks. It's called a segue. Caesar served for the Republic for 8 years. And bear in mind, like, the Roman Republic was a democratic republic where there were elected officials. So Caesar was this elected official. He served for 8 years. I don't know if they had term limits, but I think the thought was that there was term limits. He was a part of them fully conquering Gaul, which is present-day France. And after that war had completed, the Senate had demanded that he disband his army and return to Rome as a citizen. So you're no longer the guy.
Okay.
Come back. You're a citizen. Yeah. Now, he refused the Senate's request.
Yeah.
And things got contentious, and so they ended up entering into a civil war in 49 BC.
Okay.
So, so after he defeated his opposition, he was then appointed dictator in perpetuity in 44 BC. Yeah, so he was a two-term, to our knowledge, to our day's definitions, he was a two-term president whose Senate said, "Hey, you're done." He said, "I'm not." A civil war broke out. He was declared dictator. All right.
How about them Broncos?
The Broncos. Go Seahawks. I think they've won the Super Bowl, right? I don't know. Anyway, so there are, according to historians, there are essentially 3 things that broke the camel's back, so to speak, that led to the assassination of Caesar.
Okay.
And the first was in March of 45 BC. The Senate went to the temple of Venus Genetrix to present Caesar with honors. And when they arrived, he did not rise and greet them, and they took that as like a pretty insulting move.
Yeah.
So the Senate says that he's rejecting their honors and that they don't care about the Senate, right? So there's this building idea that like he's not being democratic. He's maybe a dictator. He's maybe wanting to be king. So that's incident number 1.
Okay.
In January of 44 BC, 2 tribunes find a diadem, which is essentially a gold wreath. I mean, when you think of like Roman times, you think of like these wreaths. So it's a diadem on Caesar's on a statue of Caesar's head. On the head of a statue of Caesar's head. On the head of a yeah, you get what I'm saying.
On Caesar's statue.
On Caesar's statue's head.
Head.
Yes. And they order it to be removed because the diadem is only for Jupiter, their main dude, their main god. And Caesar suspects that a tribune had actually placed it there in order to then make a scene out of it as a removal, like to kind of throw him under the bus. Like, Caesar's trying to be Jupiter. Let's make a big deal out of it. So he's then like, it's creating more tension with him and the tribunes and Senate and all that.
Okay.
Then I'm not entirely clear why this matters, but I guess it's important. If anybody knows anything about Caesar, I felt like I had to mention this. But he's coming back from somewhere, and somebody calls him Rex, which translates in Latin to king. And he says essentially like, oh, I'm not Rex, I'm Caesar. And I was like, okay. So basically he's saying I'm not a king, I'm Caesar. Like it's a joke. Like, no, I'm just Caesar, right?
Yeah.
But he takes this as an effort to build the opposition. So I think he's thinking all these people are building this story about him, and he's being suspicious about where this is going.
Okay.
And then the third incident is February 15th at 44 BC. Mark Antony, who is his kind of like right-hand man, ends up placing a diadem on Caesar in front of a crowd of people, and a few people applaud, but for the most part it's pretty silent. And Caesar's like, oof. So he takes it off his head.
Just kidding. No.
Yeah. So he removes it. And then Mark puts it back on. Same reaction. And Caesar's like, okay. So he removes it and says, no, this is only for Jupiter. And the crowd replies enthusiastically. So he's like, okay. So people thought maybe he was like gauging the crowd's thoughts on him being king.
Yeah.
And so there's just this weird tension. It just feels like weird rumors. Like God knows like what Caesar's true intentions were.
Nobody likes my hat. Okay, now I'll take it off. Should we try one more time?
Yeah, like I can't tell if Caesar actually wanted to be king or not, or whatever. But Senate is convinced, or at least the opposition is pissed, and they're convinced. So Cassius Longinus and Marcus Brutus, who we hear about Brutus all the time. Brutus betraying Caesar. Meet on February 22nd about stopping Caesar from becoming king. And they want to recruit enough people that they can have the numbers when they're up against the guards, but not so many people that it gets out, right?
Kind of like an insurrection?
More or less.
Parallels.
So they end up recruiting 60 to 80 conspirators.
Okay.
There's talks of bringing Mark Antony in. And somebody's like, actually, I kind of talked about that with Mark Antony before, and he was like not into it. And they're like, all right, we're not going to bring Mark Antony in, but maybe we kill him too. And then they're like, well, like, if we kill Mark Antony, that's just like a killing out of killing. Caesar's going to be justified, so we can't kill Mark Antony.
Yeah.
And so they decide, okay, we're not gonna do that. An oracle, a seer by the name Spurina, warns Caesar that his life is in danger no later than the Ides of March.
Ooh.
So on the 15th of March, aka the Ides of, conspirators and non-conspirators meet in the Senate House of Pompey, which they normally met in the Roman Forum, but it was under reconstruction funded by Caesar. So they're meeting in. So he's got his space that's under construction. So they're meeting in a different space than they normally meet.
It'll be magnificent.
It's gonna be magnificent.
Biggest ever.
Yep. And also on this day, the gladiator games are happening. And the conspirators are like, this is going to work in our favor because the gladiators will protect us. Like if there's an uprising, the gladiators will protect us. If it doesn't go well, they'll protect us. Now, Caesar doesn't end up showing up to this meeting because his wife was up all night with a nightmare about his death. Like she has these like nightmares about his dead body, like brutally, like, just murdered. And she's like, you can't go. So he's like, okay, I'm not going to go.
Yeah.
So he sends Mark Antony to like dismiss the Senate. And instead Brutus goes to Caesar's house. And he's like, really? You're going to believe the words of your wife and these silly ladies? Like, come on, man. It's not a big deal. Like, come to this meeting. So as Caesar's walking into this meeting, he passes Spurinna, the oracle, and he jokes to her, "Hey, the Ides of March have come."
Made it.
And she says, "Yeah, the Ides of March have come." But they've not gone. And Mark Antony is intercepted prior to this meeting, pulled aside. And so Caesar gets into this meeting, he sits down, and he's ready to hear some stuff. And one of the dudes comes up to him with a knife, and he's like, "What the heck?" And he's like, "What are you doing?" So they start fighting.
Yeah.
He's like, "What's this about?" And the guy's like, "Help," because he can't fight Caesar. So all of these men, these 60 to 80 men, come after him, and they're just stabbing the shit out of him.
I guess
he's fighting back, but he's getting cut up.
Yeah.
And stabbed.
Ugh.
So Caesar ends up dying.
Okay. History.
Yep. Don't know if you know.
The story that I always heard was the, like, stab in the back.
He's stabbed everywhere.
Stabbed everywhere.
Yeah, he's stabbed everywhere. Now, the conspirators end up marching through the streets saying, "People of Rome, you are once again free." And the citizens locked themselves inside, and the conspirators fled.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that is the assassination of Caesar.
How about them Broncos?
Let's go Nuggets. Weird, eh?
Were they scared?
Yeah, because they thought that they had a bigger movement than what they had. I think truly what happened was the Senate misjudged the temperature of everybody. I think maybe the citizens didn't want a dictator by any means, but they didn't want to fight what that looked like.
Yeah.
And I think the Senate just got into this like political, bullshit that the Senate does. And they lost sight of what was really going to happen and going on. And they thought they had enough supporters.
The evil that you know, always better than the one that you don't know. Although I don't think that's true.
Yeah. I've never heard that in my life. So,
cool.
That's the Ides of March. That's the story of how Caesar fell.
Okay, interesting.
Interesting.
I'm sure I learned this in the history class at some point during my life, but yeah,
never in my life. Never in my life. No.
Okay, thanks, Liz.
All right, yeah.
So what's that inside my body?
An uprising.
Yeah.
And a little bit of knowledge.
Okay. See you next time.
Bye.